So we're very lucky to have Anthony from Ignite in Fitzroy with us today, here to give you all some awesome tips and tricks to improve your business's online presence. So feel free to use the Q&A function in the chat, which you can see at the bottom of the screen. So if you have any questions for Anthony, feel free to type them in and he'll do his best to answer them. You can also vote for your favorite question. So if someone else has asked a question that you like the sound of, you can vote for that one and it will be pushed further up the list. If you've got any other feedback on today's session, feel free to include it in the chat function as well. So thanks again for being here, and I'll hand over to you, Anthony.
No worries. Thanks, Will. And thanks to the whole Yarra Council team for putting this on. It's a great initiative. So hopefully this webinar is one of many to come that will help support the community. So I'll share my screen now and then we'll run through the keynote. All right. So Digital 101, that's the topic of today's chat that I'm going to be talking to you all about. So I've got some tips to improve your website and your digital marketing. So this is Pablo, our office dog, currently working in isolation. But yeah, so the agenda today. So we've got 40 minutes. So quick intros for 5 minutes. And then I want to have a solid 25 minutes to run through these tips. And then some time at the end, 10 minutes if needed for question time. So definitely get your questions and send them through. Happy to answer any at the end. So formal introductions. My name's Anthony Wymond. I'm the founder and creative director at Ignite Digital Agency in Fitzroy. So a little bit about Ignite. Firstly, so this is me back in the day when I had a whole heap more hair than I do currently. So yeah, back in 95 or so, always growing up, I was right into computers, pulling them apart, building them again, and also into design as well. So I studied design at school and university, so there were two definite passions of mine. So when the internet kind of came around, you know, in around about the year 2000 or a bit before, and websites started becoming a thing, I was drawn to them straight away. So that's pretty much what I've been doing ever since professionally. So today, this is our team in Fitzroy. So an awesome team of experts specialised in custom websites and digital marketing. When we're not in lockdown working from home, this is our office on Brunswick Street. So really looking forward to getting back there. We'd only just moved in 6 months prior to the lockdown. So hopefully we're back in there soon and this is all behind us. So outside of Ignite, I'm involved in several organisations. So AGDA, I'm the chair for Victoria. So that's the Australian Graphic Design Association. I'm a guest lecturer at Chillington Design College, and I'm a judge for the Global CSS Design Awards and do some course advisory for Swinburne University. So across all these organisations, I get a pretty well-rounded view of the industry, both nationally and globally, and can bring a lot of that knowledge back to the team and our clients. And the judging for the CSS Design Awards is especially cool. Every month I get a list of the top, say 10 or 12 websites around the world and have to give my 2 cents on them from a user experience and design perspective. But yeah, there's always lots of good stuff to look at there. So in terms of our specialties, we specialise in 3 core pillars of services. So custom websites is predominantly our specialty, but backed up by digital marketing and the sales and CRM side of things, which for us is Hubspot. So these 3 key pillars we see as being critical to an effective website and web presence, which is why we do all 3 of them in-house. So a beautiful website isn't going to be effective unless you're kind of attracting the right audience to it. And if you're attracting the right audience to your beautiful website, but it's not making sales, well, it's also ineffective. So that's why these 3 things really need to be talking to one another. So we're Google partners as well, which means that we need to kind of stay up to date with all of Google's rules and regulations and all the latest in terms of training for Google advertising, and go to a few events through the year. And here are some of the clients that we've had the pleasure of working with over our time. So yeah, I won't go into any case studies now or anything, but if you're interested, go and check out our website to see some of our work. So back to the topic of today's chat. So Digital 101. So where that name and idea comes from, I'll jump into that quickly. So for some reason, I had a personal goal to want to run a 101 kilometre ultra marathon recently. So yeah, somewhere along the way, that kind of escalated into, and somehow I thought it was going to be a good idea to also accompany that mission with 101 digital tips along the way. So with every kilometre, offering a digital tip. So it was, yeah, I mean, 22 hours later, I got through it. It was definitely one of the toughest things that I've ever done. So I won't be doing that again. But the good news is that I got some content out of it. So, and you guys have 101 digital tips that you can look at on our blog. So yeah, they're all listed there with links to the relevant websites or services. So yeah, there's heaps to go through there. But I thought that given that I'd just kind of done this and it was front of my mind, that it might be good to dive into, say, a small percentage of the most valuable ones from that 101 tips. So that's kind of the topic of today's chat. So I'm picking the highest value ones that I think that you can get the best value from, I guess, for your businesses, and put into action straight away for like either little to no cost. So yeah, I think we've got time for 11. So I'll jump into them now. So first cab off the rank is Google My Business. So this is kind of a really overlooked part, or an overlooked feature that some people kind of just have an address and the bare minimum, but there's so much more that you can do with Google My Business. So obviously Google is how businesses are found. So you want to be giving Google as much information on your business as possible, just to make it easier for Google to give that information to people looking for you. So this is the back end of Google My Business, and you're looking at our account now. So this is where you manage your business. So if it's not familiar to you, this is what it looks like. This button down here, Request Reviews, is one of the most handy ones. So if you click on that, you'll get a link that you can share with your customers to help them give you a review so that you can start collecting 5-star reviews. You can create posts with offers or events which show up right alongside the search results. And then you've got the info tab here, which allows you to kind of add all of the locations that you service, add your open hours. You can also add days that you happen to be closed. All of this stuff gets reflected in Google straight away. Appointment links, this could be a handy one. Direct users straight to your request a quote page or to your store or something like that. Services is something else that you want to specify. So if people are searching maps for local web designers or whatever business you're in, Google will use that to kind of put that search together. And reviews. So reviews are underutilized too, surprisingly, but just try and collect as many reviews as you can from your clients. Come up with some kind of process where maybe people review you on the way out if you run a retail store or whatever it might be, or online now, some kind of functionality where you ask for it over email or through your newsletter. So yeah, and then Google, I'll just pause this for a second, it's going a little bit fast. Photos as well are critical. So you'll see that some of these have heaps of views. Lots of people love looking at photos of companies. So take photos of your interior and exterior of your shop front or business, and team photos as well, and photos of you in action doing what you do. And then Google has this feature as well where you can actually do a website for free. And admittedly, it's not It's not the prettiest thing going around, but if you don't have a website, it's potentially better than nothing. But yeah, the main thing is all that other information to help you get found in search. But if you want to play around with the website functionality, that's an option as well. All right. So yeah, head to the Google My Business page and just click Manage Now. You'll be able to search for your business if you haven't claimed it already, or head to business.google.com and you can add a bit more of that content that I just talked about and beef up your listing. Cool. All right. Number 2 is Full Story. So Full Story is one of several apps that actually allow you to record sessions of people that get to people that are browsing your website. So it's a little bit creepy, I guess, but this is what happens these days, and this is how it's actually super useful and helps companies and us especially see where issues might be happening in the user experience of a site. So this is an actual session from someone you can see there from Camden in England, in the UK, that was viewing our website, and they were viewing it on a mobile device, and you can actually see them scroll and click around the page. So far so good. You can see that they've scrolled the whole length of our homepage. They clicked on the menu. They ended up on our projects page. So they clicked on a project here for Mondo, and you'll see they went to visit the site to check out the link, but then they've gone straight off that page. So maybe that's a flag to us in that it wasn't clear enough that they could scroll down further, or maybe it wasn't engaging enough, the content, and we need to think about something more engaging above the fold to entice people to scroll further. But you can start to kind of insinuate some of these things that might need changing. This one's an interesting one too, which I just picked up recording this video actually, is that you can see this is our projects page, and this user's scrolled down, looked at all of the projects, and a little bit further back here, you see that they click the Show More button, and clicking that Show More button bumped them up to the top when they really wanted to see the projects below the fold there. So that's a clear issue there that is something that we should fix. And the only way that you can pick up something like that is through a tool like this. Google Analytics isn't going to help you with stuff like this. So definitely something super valuable that could help you with your website. So that's fullstory.com. Another option is Hotjar. So you can go to hotjar.com as well, but we like Full Story. And it has a free plan, and you get up to 1,000 free recordings per month. So that's enough to pick up a fair few issues to keep you busy. So building upon the website example that I showed you for Google is Squarespace. So this is really just for businesses starting up or starting out. As I'm sure there's lots of people starting up at the moment as well, given the times. So Squarespace is a really cost-effective way to get a website up that looks pretty good. So if you go to squarespace.com, you can click on templates up the top there, put in a couple of, select, I guess, a topic. So in this case, I chose health and beauty, and I want to sell products and services. And at this point, I'm just collecting inspiration. So then it'll show you relevant templates. You can have a look and see which one speaks to you the most, and then preview it. So in this case, I previewed Crosby. So this is ready to go off the shelf, basically. So you can just start with this template, change some of the images and content, and you've got a good looking website straight off the bat. And you can even sell online. So in this case, you can see you could start selling pot plants pretty much with the click of a button, and people could be buying from you. So that's something worth checking out as well for those businesses that are smaller and looking to just start something up. That's squarespace.com for that one. Okay, Hubspot. HubSpot has a free plan. It can also get quite expensive if you have all the features, but for the moment, I just thought I'd tell you about the free plan and some of the features that you can access at no cost there. So from the homepage here, if you could click Get HubSpot Free, you can set up an account. You'll get a script when you do set up an account, which you'll need to add to your website. And once you've added that script to your website, that's pretty much all you need to do, and data can start coming into HubSpot. So for free, you can see you get access to all of these tools. So you get the CRM, which is really handy. So yeah, that's access to tracking your companies or customers and the deals you might have in the pipeline, forms for collecting information, live chat, and a couple of other bits and pieces in service tools. So one thing, so this is the back end then of our HubSpot account and my profile on HubSpot. So you can see that because the script is on our website, it's tracking the sessions that I've had on our Ignite website. So it can tell you what day I went there, what page I looked at. So you can get this same data as well, just by putting a script on your page for your customers. So you can also use it as a bit of an up-to-date database of all of your customers too. You can import an Excel spreadsheet or from other platforms and add relevant information. So contact details and things like that. And it gives you a bit of an overview for the total site visits and pages viewed for each individual contact. And this is another pretty interesting tool, I guess, that you have access to this information. But with the free account, you can also get access to prospects. So prospects could be something that you could use in your new business strategy, in that all of these companies here have visited our website recently and they haven't engaged in any way. And HubSpot's smart enough to kind of match up the IP address where they're coming from with the IP address that company uses. So this doesn't mean that these people are potential customers or anything like that. They could have just found a blog post, but it does say that people from those companies have been on our site. So it's just some more information that might be handy in your tool belt. So that's hubspot.com. So check that one out as well. All right, so next up is user experience. So a couple of user experience tips that I think are some of the most important. So when users first get to your website, they'll be asking themselves, who is this organization? What do they do? And how can they help me? So answers to these questions should be clear just from landing on your homepage. They shouldn't have to go digging or scrolling or anything. It should be right there in front of them. So I've found a few local examples just because it's easier to demonstrate this kind of stuff with actual examples. And I'm not picking on these guys at all, but it's just I thought, why not use local companies and show you these examples. So in this case, who is this company? So I can kind of see that they do tax. The really prominent thing here is that your business is important to us. So that doesn't really tell me anything. And that's really about what's important to them, and it's not helpful to me. So I can see that they want me to engage with this area. They do tax matters and business affairs. They're completely dedicated to the success of its clients. So that's all good, but I can't see exactly kind of where they're located, who they're for. Are they for small business, startups, sole traders, big business? There's unanswered questions there. Here's another company. So working alongside business owners to drive change. Okay. Are they consultants? I'm not too sure. And these guys don't just change, evolve. Okay, fair enough, but I've got no idea what these guys do. They really want to start a conversation, but I don't know what they do yet. They could be consultants as well. They could be therapists. I'm not too sure. So there's unanswered questions with those guys. And this is the last example. So Bentley, know, solve, and succeed. Okay, lots of unanswered questions there. They've listed some services, but that's about it. So then you've got our example on our website. So we have really specifically said what we do. So we do custom web design and digital marketing. And who do we do it for? We do it for large Australian companies and private schools. And where do we do it? We do it in Melbourne and Sydney. So that's, as soon as you land on our homepage, without having to scroll, all of those questions are answered. So I very much recommend that you do the same on your website. So call to action or CTA buttons. So call to action buttons or CTAs are prominent buttons displayed on your website to clearly convey what the next action is that you'd like them to take. For example, contact us or download now. So one primary CTA per page is best, so as not to confuse your users with too many options, and use a unique color that is different to other colors on the site to help it stand out. So a couple of examples again, I'll just use the exact same video. So these guys, that's definitely the CTA, that button, except they've confused things by adding this this animated button that looks like a button, but it's actually not. It's just trying to draw attention to this button. So I would be dropping that off if I was them, and just have the one primary button. These guys have this button up in the top right, backable, which is quite abnormal in that it doesn't tell me what I'm going to get from clicking on it. So at this point, I don't know what backable is, so I'm unlikely to click on it. But the concept is right in that it's a different color. It's one there's one primary call to action there, except I don't know what I'm going to get from clicking on it. And these guys, that's definitely a CTA. They really want to start a conversation. That's great. But again, there's no context there. No CTA on this website, the Agility Collective. So I'm not too sure where they're based, who they look after, what exactly they do, and I don't know what they want me to do next. I know they love post-it notes though. Bentley, again, no CTA. I don't really know where I should be clicking. So yeah, they're not doing it either. So yeah, and then you can see on our website, there's really no confusion there. That's where we want people to engage with the Get Started button up there. So that's CTAs. All right, blogs. So all of us, or many of us, I'm sure, are guilty of not maintaining our blog or letting it get a bit out of date. But creating and maintaining a blog is critical for ensuring that your business is found online. So I very much recommend that you try and build a process into keeping it up to date. And to help with that, I've got a couple of ideas here. So for example, if you were a business that was, say, a nursery that sold pot plants, you might have a couple of articles that you can think to write about, but likely might run out of ideas pretty quickly at the thought of, say, writing 1 or 2 articles per week. So I've got a couple of ideas to help with that. So you can use Google to help with that. Just go to google.com, maybe try a whole heap of the prefixes like where, when, how, why, and then pot plants, your keyword. So you can see that Google will auto-suggest phrases that other people are searching for. So these are the kind of topics that you should be kind of molding your content around. So there's tons of ideas in there. And then if you want an easier way to visualize that, there is an awesome website here called answerthepublic.com. I'll put the URL up in a second. But if you go to answerthepublic.com and type in one of your services, so in this case, pot plants, you'll see if we scroll down, this website basically does that job for you. And it gives you all of these terms and what gets shown in Google. So this is actually what people are searching for. So you can see why are pot plant leaves turning yellow? That's a blog post right there. You know, are worms good for pot plants? That's not something that I'd considered, but there you go. That could be a blog post too. And then there's more listed below as well. Pot plant shops near me, indoor pot plants near me. So you can see people are searching for pot plant shops near them. So if you can be the most informative website with all of these articles on how to look after your pot plants, that's a step in the right direction to ranking for those searches. So heaps of ideas there for your content plan. Lead magnets are another one. These are awesome for building your email list. So if any of you have a newsletter subscription area in your website, maybe it's down in the footer where you can sign up to the company newsletter. You'll probably know that it doesn't really get engaged with that much, and maybe you get a few subscribers a week or something like that if you're lucky. But it really doesn't do much in terms of driving that needle. So that's because 96% of the visitors that come to your website are not ready to buy and are not really that interested in your company. So basically what a lead magnet is, and I'll run you through a couple of examples. So we've got a few on our website. One is this one, 5 critical steps to creating highly effective websites. So no matter what phase you're in at the moment, that is potentially something that could be of interest if you're looking at ever redoing a website. So you can download that content for free. This is a blog post that we've got, which is specifically targeting our target audience of CMOs and heads of marketing. So a really valuable blog post, which is going to help with Google rankings for being found. It's a CMO or marketing cheat sheet. So that'll be helpful. So our target audience can download that and use that to help them in their job. And this is an example that we did for Melbourne Girls Grammar. So benefits of a girls' school. So that's something that parents are asking themselves, whether they're deciding to go with co-ed or single-sex schools. So in this case, this topic will be front of mind for those parents deciding. So this lead magnet has all of the advantages as to why you would go for a girls' school over co-ed. So again, really low barrier to entry. Just put your name and email address in and you've got the content. So yeah, that's all there is to it. So there's a few key things. So it needs to be an irresistible offer. It needs to be extremely valuable content. So just because you manage to collect their email address doesn't mean that you can't provide valuable content or that's going to damage your brand. So whatever you give them has to be super valuable. And this will build your email list rapidly. So for us, we kind of ticked along, like I said, having that sign up link in the footer. When we moved to lead magnet strategy, we built our list to, it's going on 10,000 now in the space of a few years. So it's definitely, if you combine that with the answer the public stuff, you'll be on your way, well and truly. So yeah, you can use that email list to nurture prospects, and ideally they become a customer at some point in the future. So I'm running overtime a little bit, so I'll just pick up the pace. SSL certificates, they're kind of boring, I guess, but they're super important. So you'll notice up the top of this website, it says not secure. So Google is coming down on sites that aren't secure, that don't have an SSL certificate. So there's a few local restaurants that are guilty of this. It is free, so you should definitely set up an SSL certificate on your site. You'll see that you should have a little padlock that's locked when it does, and you won't have a warning in Google Chrome, and Chrome will tell you that the connection's secure. So SSL certificates secure the data that's been transferred on your site, which could be forms or something like that. Increases trust with your users, gives you a minor improvement in Google rankings too, which is probably the best reason to do it, and it's free. So let'sencrypt.org is where you go, but that might be one for a developer or something to sort out, or your web hosting company. So video, super important. Adding videos to your web pages can increase conversions by up to 80%. Create videos of your day-to-day, your own tips and tricks, industry insights and more. Upload them to YouTube and Instagram. Embed them on your website to increase the time your users spend on your website, which is a ranking factor. So the longer you can get users to spend on your website, the better you'll do in terms of Google rankings. And always add subtitles to your videos as well. So you'll notice that in this video, I've got subtitles there. It's actually super easy to do that. You can head to a website called rev.com, R-E-V, and it will, if you just upload your video file there, you'll have within an hour or so a subtitle file back that you can upload to YouTube or Facebook, and you'll have subtitles like that, which are all in sync. So yeah, if your video is a couple of minutes long, it'll cost you a couple of dollars. So, and lots of people watch videos without sound these days. So definitely, if you're going to go to the effort of creating video content, add subtitles. So some digital marketing podcasts as well to take away with you. Small Business, Big Marketing is a really cool one. It's an Australian-made one by Tim Reed. So he interviews a whole heap of small business owners. There's lots of key takeaways from every episode there. Marketing School by Neil Patel and Eric Sue. And the Gary Vee Audio Experience by Gary Vaynerchuk. And Smart Passive Income by Pat Flynn. So those four all have hundreds of episodes. They'll keep you busy for months. So dive into them and get to work. So no matter whether you're a startup, small business or big business, there's stuff in there that will keep you busy no matter what. So hopefully you got at least one takeaway from that. And yeah, let's connect if you've got any questions. I think I can see some questions coming through, which I'll have a look at in a sec. But yeah, shoot me an email or something like that, or connect on LinkedIn. You can find me on LinkedIn, Anthony Wymond, or Instagram, Anthony Wymond. And yeah, that's us. Thank you.
That's awesome. Thanks so much, Anthony. They were great tips.
No worries.
We have had a couple of questions come through. Do you want to answer those ones? I think we've mentioned that the blog topic website that you featured was called answerthepublic.com.
Yep.
But there are a couple of there about blog posts. Do you want to chat to those?
Yeah, so let me see. I can stop sharing my screen now, can't I? Okay. Okay, so let me have a look. So can I ask the website used for blog topic? Yep, so answerthepublic.com. How long would you suggest a blog be? Rough indication. So if you do a search for that online, how long a blog post should be, you'll get lots of different answers. In general, it has to be valuable content. So it's not really an answer to say 2,000 words, because if it's 2,000 words of rubbish, it's not going to be good. But that being said, you can't just write 100, 200 words and have it really be valuable at all. So the answer there is you'll find that really long blog posts typically do well, but it does also come down to original content and valuable content. So I guess the answer there would be maybe between 500 to 2,000 words, but make sure it's super valuable, unique, original content. Why are blog posts essential? Do all business types benefit from blogs? Definitely. So yeah, no matter what business you're in, you can definitely have a blog. Go to Answer, even if you think that you're in an industry where you can't talk about what you do, go to Answer the Public and type in a few of your services or something related to your industry, and you'll find that there's hundreds of topics that maybe you hadn't considered that you could actually be writing about to help you look like a specialist in your industry and help Google find you as well, and your potential customers find you. So definitely blog posts I would be recommending for every business. Copy of the slides, please. Yep, happy to send a copy to you, Will? Do you want me to send a link to you and you can share them in the show notes or something like that?
Yeah, definitely I can do that. But also I'd recommend, Patrick, if you go to Anthony's website, which is igniteonline.com.au/blog, you can see all 101 tips in there. So we're very grateful that you gave us an explanation of your top 11 today. But yeah, Patrick and anyone else who's interested in those tools that Anthony covered, or indeed the other ones, you can go to the full blog post and take a look at them there and watch you run 101 kilometers.
Yeah. So, and then, is using and repeating keywords in blogs important to improve the ranking? So I wouldn't say repeating keywords. Definitely don't repeat keywords to the point that they're unnatural, but you will find that people say, or sometimes clients come to us and they're like, we're not ranking for this keyword. And you ask, well, are you writing about that keyword? Do you have multiple blog posts about that keyword? Are you seen as the expert in that on your website? And maybe that keyword doesn't even appear too much on the website. So that's the first step, but definitely not repeating keywords. It kind of comes back to the valuable content side of things. It does need to be in there in the title, ideally, and throughout the content in the H1 headings and the H2s, if it makes sense. So short answer is it needs to be in there, but don't be including it multiple times just in the hope that will help. It probably won't. Cool. Okay. And slides, no worries. Cool. Glad you guys found all that helpful. If you've got any other questions, reach out. Happy to answer any more.
I think there was one last question in the chat feed just about the podcast that you mentioned.
Okay. Yep. So I guess they'll be in the slides. Hold on. What was the question? Was it what podcasts they were?
Or did you mention a podcast at one point?
Yeah. So the podcasts are, so they're Small Business, Big Marketing by Tim Reid, Marketing School by Neil Patel and Eric Sue, and the Gary V Audio Experience and Smart Passive Income. So they're all just for digital marketing specific.
Oh, great. And they're on your blog. I'm looking here as well.
Oh, they are actually. Yeah, they are.
Yeah, they're number 13 of 101. So if you're keen to...
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, we might wrap it up there. So thanks very much, Anthony, for your time today. And thanks everyone for attending. If you have more questions for Anthony, feel free to reach out to him directly. You've got all of his details there on LinkedIn and his website. Now, tomorrow we're going to be hosting another webinar on a slightly different topic. It's going to be at 10 a.m. Tomorrow with Courtney and Sahar from Fiber HR in Richmond. And they'll be talking about different ways to manage your staff during this difficult time. So using different strategies like leave entitlements or even standing down employees and redundancies. So if you're struggling with how to sort of navigate that space as an employer, definitely come along to that webinar tomorrow. So if you haven't registered for that one already, you can hop on the Yarra City Council Facebook page and you'll be able to find the link there to register for the Zoom meeting. Cool. So thanks very much, everyone, for attending. Thanks, Anthony.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Thank you. Bye.